All right. Well, good morning and welcome, everybody. I'm excited to have you for day 4 of our Winter Summit 2020 for our Insurtech Expo. We have a really exciting show for you today, seeing all of the graduation pitches from our Batch 9 startups. Quick glance at what we're going to do today. We have some opening remarks from our very own Eugenio Gonzalez, a really exciting fireside chat with one of our portfolio CEOs, followed by our startup pitches, some brief awards, and some closing remarks before we send you off to Remo. So without any further ado, I want to introduce Eugenio Gonzalez, the Ventures Director here for our Insurtech team.
Amazing. Hello, everyone. My name is Eugenio, Principal at Plug and Play Ventures. For those of you that don't know me, I oversee our Insurtech Ventures team tasked with sourcing, vetting, and investing in the latest and greatest startups across the world. I'm really excited to be here today, bringing you today's trends presentations. When we began this batch's journey back in August at our Selection Week event, we gave an in-depth presentation to our Anchor and Ecopia partners about the different trends in the P&C and life and health space. Not surprisingly, the overwhelming majority of our partners were interested in the trend highlighted during the P&C Day, the future of real estate and its impact on insurance. Today, I'm going to briefly talk about 2 trends within the future of real estate and insurance as they are unfolding, and they touch upon startups, corporations on our new normal. Let's start off with one of the trends we discussed, the automation of blue-collar workers. During Selection Week, we discussed a sudden increase in requests from our partners regarding robotics. In light of COVID-19, more employers have been looking into replacing workers with robots. Similar to what we've seen in retail, for commercial real estate, this meant the automation of recurring jobs like cleaning and security. Why? Well, the reason is very simple. Robots don't need face masks, don't get sick, don't spread COVID, and don't take days off. They are not subject to lockdowns or shelter in place, making robots the ideal worker in this situation. And despite minor setbacks in recent news like Pfizer and Moderna's vaccine, which sent iRobot's shares down 10% in one day, as well as Walmart's decision to shelve robots in favor of humans, putting a premature end to the deployment of shelf scanning robots in roughly 10% of the US stores, automation of blue-collar workers is still fast underway. According to Forrester, in the long run and at scale, the economics are in favor of automation, which is why more employers are moving in this direction. But what would the impact on insurance be? Well, we're seeing now that this trend will likely have a massive impact on workers' comp. Because of COVID-19, introduced a very unique situation. And the fact is that workers' comp doesn't generally cover routine illnesses like a cold or a flu because they cannot be tied to a workplace. And this has been a thorny issue this year as work is deemed essential, including healthcare workers, e-commerce operators, and grocery store workers are at high risk of exposure to the virus in their own workplace. Yet, COVID-19 infection could not be covered by most states. But all of this is changing. A common approach over the past few months has been to amend state policy so COVID-19 infections in certain workers are presumed to be work-related in a similar way as some states have policies that presume that firefighters or other first responders' chronic lung and respiratory illnesses are work-related and therefore covered. States like Massachusetts are now extending coverage to include healthcare workers, and other states like California and Kentucky are extending coverage to grocery store employees deemed essential workers. This shift puts the burden on the employer and the insurer to prove that the infection was not work-related, making it easier for workers to file successful claims. And while we're all about protecting our first responders and the essential workers, there will likely be an unintended consequence of this change. It adds an additional incentive to replace workers with robots. In the short term, we expect these changes to impact workers' compensation and increase the overall number of claims and losses, which will push premiums higher. But in the long term, things will be different. With more incentives to replace blue-collar and essential workers in order to automate dangerous or repetitive tasks, and now to replace these workers because they're required facing the public and are likely more exposed to contracting the virus, employers are now more than ever willing to explore automation of their workforce. We foresee that the total amount of injuries and claims within workers' comp will keep decreasing. More robots means less injuries, which will provide for a nice reduction in claims and loss ratios, and even a healthier book of business for insurance. Well, it sounds like good news, right? Not quite. Companies with less employees and less risks have a smaller payroll and pay less in workers' comp, providing a nice incentive to keep automating the workforce. In the long run, the decreasing need for workers and the ability to automate routine and dangerous tasks, meaning less risks and less claims, will eventually bring down the total number of policies being written for workers' comp. Insurance will keep competing on pricing, bringing premiums even further down, which will likely result in a considerably small size of book of business, putting even more pressure on insurance with a higher combined ratio. In an even lower interest rate, this can be devastating for some insurance. Okay, let's switch gears here and talk about the second trend that we want to update you on, the massive transformation of HR and IT and how it's undergoing. During Selection Day, we talked about how COVID-19 dramatically reshaped the economy, forcing businesses to become part of an unprecedented remote work experiment, and how we had seen increases in requests from partners regarding remote work and collaboration tools. And despite numerous advantages that companies and employees perceive from implementing remote work and having distributed teams, such as access to a global and diverse talent pool to recruit from, time and cost savings, a higher talent retention rate, many companies struggle with building corporate culture. This massive shift has highlighted the importance of HR's role within organizations. Pre-COVID-19, human resources jobs were not on the high priority list. Everyone was looking to replace HR with hiring algorithms to select best candidates or automate payrolls and time offs, etc. But suddenly, HR departments across the world had to pull the task that no algorithm was prepared for, shifting companies from in-person to remote, elevating HR discussions from the back office to the C-suite level. In addition, the challenges of hiring, onboarding, and building a corporate culture for remote teams that we discussed during Selection Week, we've seen even more challenges arise. The always-on aspect of work from home is causing a real dent on the work-life balance, and workers across organizations are feeling burned out. Gallup, the analytics and advisory company, reported that 2/3 of full-time workers experience burnout on the job. And the worst part, this was in March of this year, even before the pandemic began. Burnout is intensifying as the pandemic drags on, and companies, whether they are startups or our corporate partners, are trying to figure out how to keep employees engaged and happy. Companies are realizing that it takes more than just organizing happy hours or video workout classes to boost the team's morale. The real challenge is to reimagine HR's role and focus it on well-being, which is a business strategy aimed at increasing employee retention and productivity. According to Gene Meister, a managing partner at Future Workplace, an HR advisory and membership firm, these challenges have put the new emphasis on the importance of worker health and wellness, not just in terms of physical health. This means that the future of work will include developing a stronger focus and a more holistic view of employee well-being, one that HR tackles by addressing the emotional, mental, and even spiritual health of workers. Sounds too new age for you? Well, Accenture CEO encouraged direct reports to attend a 2.5-hour virtual training on how to better support colleagues facing mental health issues. Eventbrite, the event management and ticketing company, provides their employees with virtual sessions to discuss these strains on their mental health. Dell Technologies created a pandemic-specific peer group, and more than 1,500 Dell employees joined colleagues in virtual support groups focused on the pandemic isolation or childcare. Speaking of childcare, working parents make up about a third of the US workforce and are losing an average of 8 hours per week due to childcare responsibilities during the pandemic, which according to Northeastern University only adds more stress to their work lives. Patagonia, a pioneer in offering in-house daycare since 1983, claims that employees who use their childcare programs have a turnover rate that is 25% lower than the rest of the staff. That's why companies like Bank of America, Twitter, or Deloitte, among other firms, are offering childcare reimbursements during the pandemic. Companies that can anticipate their organization's future HR responsibilities are not only safeguarding their biggest asset, their people, but also in a position to outperform competitors. Darren Murph, head of remote work at GitLab, the world's largest all-remote company, said HR's role is going to be vital to determining which companies come out of this situation thriving and which come out looking like they didn't get the memo. Just as CFOs greatly increased their importance during the 2008 financial crisis, chief HR officers now have that same opportunity to become central C-suite players. Change is coming, and it's best to get a head start. Well, that concludes today's presentation. We hope you enjoyed it, and as always, this deck, along with other previous Trends decks, will be exclusively available to our anchor partners. If you would like to discuss any of the topics we just covered, please do not hesitate to reach out to us, and don't forget to follow us on social media. We hope you enjoy our summit, and we look forward to seeing you at our networking piece later today. Back to you, Rachel.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Eugenio. And super timely, really quick housekeeping before we move along here for our fireside chat. Remember that you can submit questions in chat, anything you might need help with, or if you have a question for our fireside chat here today, please feel free to drop that in the chat or Q&A functions in the bottom of your screen. And of course, reminder for Remo next. But next up, I want to introduce our own Nuralogix, Sidhu, and Joanna Riley from Sensa. If you both want to welcome you to turn your camera and mics on, and Nuralogix, if you want to take it away.
Thanks, Rachel. Joe, thanks again for making the time. How's the week going?
It's going great. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, appreciate you making the time. So obviously, we know you and we know the company pretty well as a portfolio company and a former batch company. But for kind of the audience's benefit, would be curious to hear a little bit more about your background, kind of your intersection with the future of work, and what Sensia does.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, thanks so much for having me, Plug and Play, and thanks, Nuralogix, for inviting me here. Welcome, everyone. What a fantastic start to the Winter Summit, or day 4 of the Winter Summit. So just to give you a little bit of background, I am a repeat entrepreneur. So I went to University of Virginia for college and was recruited to the FBI right out of college. So I was very excited. I thought that was what I was going to do forever. Loved what I did in the bureau, but I absolutely hated the bureaucratic structure. And so became an entrepreneur at 22, and I've never been anything else. But over the last decade, I've had a very unique opportunity to travel around the world and meet some of the greatest executives out there. And what was pretty crazy as I started, leading up to building out HR technology was how many people and how many executives said that their top priority and their top asset in the organization were their people. And how many people also said that their biggest challenge was finding great people. And how many of the best CEOs in the world say that their greatest fear is that if they can't find talent skilled enough for the future at the rate of digital transformation, they will not survive. And that leads me to why we created Sensia. At Sensia is a talent intelligence platform, and we believe something really core to us that's different. We believe that talent decisions and the bias in talent decisions are affecting billions of highly capable people around the world from getting opportunities that they deserve, and even more so impacting the bottom line of organizations. I mean, trillions of dollars are spent around the world making people decisions, and yet they're highly subjective, they're incredibly manual, and they lack the necessary intelligence and context to make a good decision. And so we believe that by bringing AI and machine learning into the enterprise, we can help them make data-driven decisions across the entire life cycle of talent and really help power the future of HR software.
Great. Well, sounds like a smart company to invest in. I mean, I think one of the things our partners, as generally large enterprises, think a lot about is how kind of the pandemic has shifted sort of the remote work strategy for startups. For yourself,
yeah,
a company who from kind of the get-go has been a future of work startup, curious how the pandemic sort of changed your way of work. How do you sort of salvage and preserve a lot of the pre-COVID aspects of work from in person that were kind of the best, created a lot of the kind of core parts of the culture?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And we're very fortunate at Sensia because we can work remotely. And not only that, it's been pretty shocking to see the productivity increase. I think that we're all seeing this across ourselves, but also our colleagues. And as a CEO, that also has had me on kind of extra watch. One thing I've noticed with that productivity increase and with us being remote is just an increase in isolation and anxiety. People are, they're desperate to interact with humans. They're overwhelmed. As we just heard, they're just overwhelmed with childcare, and they're overwhelmed trying to figure out this balance. And so one of the things that I kind of committed to right out of the gates was being able to share my own vulnerabilities and be just very transparent about discussions. And so we have, 2020 has been a big year for people. And it is, I think, wrong for us to, as leaders, to assume that we shouldn't be talking about those topics. And that's been historically, you don't talk about elections, you don't talk about social unrest. We never have ever thought about talking about a pandemic hitting across the world. And yet all of this was so much that I think it created a moment for leaders to say, we've got to open this up and have discussions. We've got to give room to our employees to have discussions around people because they aren't getting an opportunity to do that otherwise. And I think that has been something different about us. Right out of the gates, I remember sharing with the team, all right, we're going in lockdown. What are we going to do? And that created some incredible ideas. And I know I'm going to share with you a little bit later, but it just spurred this innovation and this passion for people to create solutions to the problems that we were facing. And we've seen this over and over. I mean, HR has been affected with both everyone getting locked down and remote work and the changes of the priorities of the enterprise. But then the Black Lives Matter movement, that just changed everything again and put a big focus on, even more of a focus on diversity. And so how could we help solve that? The rise of unemployment, how could Sensia solve that? The election, what does this mean for talent? And I think it's just been an incredible experience for us that has really resulted in quite an amazing tailwind.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that has kind of resonated a lot with me, somewhat counterintuitively, as we've moved further away from our colleagues and kind of the day-to-day, sort of being able to connect with them on topics that are in many ways kind of closer to reality, where typically we would have maybe kind of forgotten them, checked out of them as you sort of clocked into the workplace. But curious to hear a little bit more about sort of your customers, how you've seen any sort of strategy shifts across those different customers, and whether there's been any delineation across sort of the more software tech SaaS companies versus some of the more kind of traditional Fortune 1000 companies. Any type of color on insurers, I think, would be especially interesting to the crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. I've actually been very impressed with insurance companies. We have a pretty incredible amount of them that are both customers that are increasing they're increasing the need and increasing the deployment of automation technologies, just like Sensia. There's also been a big focus on how can we make data-driven decisions, that the transparency of information is key. I'm one of my favorite leaders I met through Axis. I met through Plug and Play, which is Axis Capital. They are in insurance, and their head of HR, it just really, the way that she looks at things, the way that she looks at data at the forefront, it's just been, I mean, she was doing that before anyone else. And now I feel like everyone's kind of starting to ask these questions and saying, hey, where are our people? So we're seeing that with companies that are hiring, they're experiencing at minimum a 3x increase in applications. And it's just overwhelming the organization. For companies that are downsizing, they're really focused on trying to figure out the skills of their organization. They're trying to understand, how do we move people internally from departments that are maybe now declining to departments that are scaling rapidly? How do we make sure that we don't make expensive and incorrect decisions? And how do we deploy technology to help us do that? And so, it has been really interesting, but I do think that the big thing that we're noticing is that there's been a big focus on a prioritization of skilling, of understanding the skills of your workforce and how do you teach them new skills. Wow, look at the results of this poll. How cool.
Yeah, I think covering some of the topics here, I mean, I think one of the things that folks are listing as sort of dominantly their biggest concern about their people, and one of the things that's always kind of stuck out to me about the insurance industry is that these are typically enterprises who have tried to take really good care of their people. Retention for a lot of insurance companies, it's often been kind of a lifetime tenure. And you have to kind of do a ton of work around the culture, the employee experience to keep folks for the lifetime of their careers, right? But it's interesting, through this poll, 46% of responders have said mental health impact due to the events of 2020 is the biggest concern for their people. I know you touched a little bit about sort of the narrative side of that, how discussing a lot of kind of the crazy things that are happening in 2020, but also some of the things that I think were a long time coming are coming into fruition now. Talking about it, I think, is certainly helpful. Any other kind of strategies you've seen the startup community, especially folks who are really steeped on the future of work side, to kind of help appease and mitigate some of the mental health concerns?
Yeah, I know this sounds pretty crazy, but I'm a I feel like I'm crowdsourcing great ideas on how to engage my team over Zoom. And I think having small group discussions is really important. I think limiting those discussions so that they're active, they're engaging, they're not, we're not doing these long sessions of a few hours, even as we do our leadership kickoff for the year of 2021. And we're doing that right now. We're breaking that up, and we're breaking it up with breakout rooms. We're breaking up with topics to get to know each other better. But I was asking people, what are some of the things that we're doing what are all the things that people are doing to help keep your own mental health of your employees well? And I have just this incredible list of things. I mean, it's everything from walking competition. So how many steps did you do in a week? I have other companies that are doing running competitions, or trivia has been unbelievably exciting. For some reason, I thought it would be actually poker, but trivia was way bigger hit. It just created a camaraderie and an atmosphere across our company where departments were part of teams together. And I think that was a really unique opportunity for them. In addition to that, I've been very open around conversations and topics, and I've wanted people to feel like they have a place to share. And I think that's been a really incredible one. Last week, I surprised the team, and it's silly how these little things work, but I surprised the team by telling them that every fourth Friday they get off. You would be shocked at how excited they are. And I'm like, you have it off. Like, you're not, if I see a calendar invite, if anyone sees it in the executive team, we will have to have a discussion. Like, you're off. Nobody's allowed to work on those. And you've got to get outside and do things with your family, share photos in our company chat. And it's created a kind of revitalization, I would say, of the team.
Got it. That's super exciting. One of the things we recently did as a ventures team was try out goat yoga as a team.
Nice.
I didn't attend, but previously having done goat yoga at an Insurtech conference, dig in Austin. It's a great experience. And I feel like thinking outside of the box, those kind of small additions, I feel like can go such a long way in terms of advancing the culture of the team. But kind of switching gears a little bit. So again, a lot of our partners are thinking about what the back to normal strategy looks like for them, especially given primarily insurance companies were really used to working in person I think several years ago didn't have robust strategies around what work from home looks like, very different from a lot of the kind of software first companies, folks like Twitter and so forth. So far, from what I've heard from a lot of partners, the strategies look very different. Some folks who are thinking about more of a hybrid model where they'll kind of send certain folks back into office as soon as possible, wait on other folks. Others who have decided to close down specific offices, make them entirely work from home. And others who are saying, hey, we're trying to get back our entire workforce as soon as possible. We miss a lot of the elements of being able to work from in person. So kind of curious to hear about, if we're trying to maximize for talent acquisition and for employee experience, do you have a sense of what the return to normal kind of remote work strategy should look like, where that balance should lie in terms of trying to kind of manage the risk, trying to be respectful of, kind of individual constraints folks might have around childcare and so forth, but also wanting to kind of retain and return to some of those culture aspects that perhaps we might have traded off for?
Yeah, I think it really depends on a company's particular needs. I wish I did have the crystal ball to say this is what to do, but I think I think organizations have seen that they're across the board, as I mentioned, a productivity increase. And when, we're going to have to understand we're not going to be able to have the same productivity levels and have people commuting and have people traveling and going to the office and getting the distraction involved there. But I do think it's really important to have an opportunity for the team to come together. And so I do think regardless of the strategy, having team events where people can come together in a safe environment, and for those that wish, we've started to do those recently, and it's been just fantastic. We all get together, we all eat, we drink, but we're outside, we're safe, and people need that interaction. And then we go back and we're all working hard. I do think that we have to have very clear expectations on our teams, even more so. One of the challenges is onboarding people, right? And we're in a time of growth, and I can't tell you how many people I've never met. That's weird. And I think the thing that has worked for us, because I've gotten a number of them to reach out to just say, they're like, I've been so welcomed here. And in an unusual way, if we were in person, there's no way that new hires would get the opportunity to meet so many of the team. And so we actually set up individual Zoom meetings for short periods of time where the new hires can meet the key players in other departments, ask them questions, get to know them. And it feels like from then on, they don't feel uncomfortable at all engaging with them. And I think that's one of those benefits where you go, yeah, we're not having an opportunity to engage, but it's much more valuable engagement that has a much bigger results for sure.
Got it.
What about you guys? When are you doing a plug and play?
We don't know, I guess.
What's your crystal ball say?
So much of it is dependent, I think, on sort of factors outside of a company's control, which is, I think, really difficult. But so far, looking across kind of the poll results, which I made sure to do a screenshot of because they disappear so quickly, it looks like across our audience today, over the next 12 to 18 months, 55% believe they're going to have some folks back into office. 34% say they're going to stay remote and reduce office space. And 11% say they'll try kind of a full return back into office as soon as possible. So I think some interesting variations, again, 12 to 18 months, a lot of it depends on factors outside of the company's control. But I think part of what might happen is that when folks are finally able to go back, especially with all the events of 2020 and maybe early 2021, I think there's just going to be a lot more to talk about, a lot more to bond over, a lot of kind of missed time to maybe create more workforce culture over that. Maybe there's a way to kind of make up for some lost time and we come out better than we were kind of coming into it. But
I heard that Sandy Gould, who's the head of talent at Verizon Media, he said something really great. He said, he calls this the great equalizer. And I think that's true in a lot of ways, not just in, we're all in the same situation, which we are, but we also are we all have messy lives. My dog's over here trying to bury herself into her own dog bed. And it's like, everyone's got that, or a kid that's, screaming about something or needing something, or just life as it happens, or postman delivering something. It's always interrupting. And I do think that that has created this. It's okay, we don't need to be so hard on each other. But I had a friend say to me recently, she made a really good point. She said, when your competitors show up in person, you're going to show up in person. And I think that's it's such an important point. That was her kind of idea of what's going to happen around this. And I think that's really true, is people are going to start to show up in person, and you're not going to, no one wants to be the company that's sitting there saying, well, we're going to just zoom it in.
Mhm.
Nope. You're going to show up in person, and there will be a balance. I don't think that the intensity of business travel will be the same.
Right. And kind of switching gears a little bit more to talent, obviously a space that one of your kind of core value propositions, a lot of the early history of the company. Looking across this poll, we sent out sort of top talent priorities for folks in our audience across the next 12 to 18 months. Roughly 68% say it's around kind of upskilling, which we'll kind of cover a little bit later, but roughly 31% say recruit better qualified talent, which is interesting to me. It's higher than I expected. I've heard anecdotally just a ton of slowdown around hiring across a lot of our partners. So it's interesting here. I'd be curious to hear a little bit about your learnings on the talent acquisition side over the past few months. I know you guys spent a lot of time launching your Ready to Hire product. And also, I guess, kind of grappling with this question of, is this a crisis or is this an opportunity for folks when they think about talent acquisition?
Yeah, no, for sure. And for those that don't know, Ready to Hire, we launched as part of one of those ideas that came out of one of those vulnerable conversations we had as a team, going, all right, what are we going to do here? Right in the first week of April, we launched Ready to Hire, which was to help when organizations were laying their talent off, we would help that talent find job opportunities at companies that were hiring. And for companies that were hiring, they could get access to that talent. And that talent, I mean, the talent, unfortunately, that was displaced was, in a lot of cases, incredible, especially across what we saw. We had a lot of engineers, we had a lot of data scientists, we had a lot of products, we had a lot of people that were, over $100,000 to recruit just a couple months before. So it's an amazing thing to see. We have companies that will put, 10, 20,000 people a week in their hiring cycles on Ready to Hire. We have, to date, we have close to 3 million people that are part of Ready to Hire that have found opportunities through Ready to Hire. So it's just really exciting for us to do that and to really give back in a time of challenge. But I will say this, I think this is an unprecedented chance to hire incredible talent. We've never, this was the opportunity that so many organizations were trying to get to, is how can we finally find this great talent? I don't know, some people may know this already, but few know this, that one of the things that gave HP a big edge was that during the economic downturn in the 1940s, they scooped up some of the best talent from other organizations. And when later asked why did they choose to hire during this uncertain time, they said, we couldn't afford not to. And HP really became HP during that time. And I think that for the companies that are looking at how do we survive, how do we transform, it is so critically important to understand that that comes from people. And those people, for the first time, are not $100,000. They're not, or they're not extremely hard to find. They're not extremely expensive. But, something that came out recently was just that we, as Korn Ferry, put out a report saying that if we don't solve the skill shortage by 2030, as we sit today with the advancements of technology, it will result in an $8.5 trillion revenue loss to the enterprise. And so when I say you can't afford not to, it's really, really true. The revenue of the future is going to come from the talent that have the right skills and the right knowledge to transform. So I think that's great to see. And I think upskilling is equally right in line with that. As well as obviously hiring, but it's good to see that 1%. It just validated everything I keep saying in Norgit.
Yeah, but kind of thinking a lot about the skills economy as well. So obviously that's a kind of capability suite you've spent some time producing. Things like sort of internal talent mobility, upskilling, which is, I think, a huge question right now. Right, it was already a big topic going into COVID. I think now with so much disruption in the labor market, so much disruption in the education system, you still have a ton of folks, I think, who are really, really capable from a potential perspective, from a can they learn what we need them to learn perspective, but just a ton of inefficiencies now, right, that have aggregated in a very short amount of time. One anecdote I saw on LinkedIn a few weeks ago was a guy comes to race a marathon runner, and the guy's not run for several years. And the second guy, who's a professional runner, says, "Oh, how have you prepared for this race?" And the first guy says, "I ran a marathon 20 years ago." And that's somewhat being analogous to, I think, a lot of the education system, a lot of, the investments that have not historically been made as folks have worked for companies 10, 20, 30 years down the line, and have generally only had one very concentrated pulse through which they're gaining a lot of their skills. They're really just focused on learning. But curious to hear a little bit about how you think enterprises should be thinking about this skills economy, any strategies or recommendations you have around kind of that very important upskilling or reskilling piece.
Yeah, for sure. It's something I'm very passionate about. I think that for most organizations, step one of upskilling is understanding the skills within the organization. And some of the big challenges that they don't know them. It's just how technology's been set up. I mean, for years, when employees became part of the company, you would take their resume and attach it as a PDF, and the organization's like, now we all of a sudden have to start doing analytics on top of skill sets. Nobody has their skills filled out. We don't even know how to do this. And so I think what's really powerful is that there's some extraordinary companies, and this is something that we at Sensia work on too, or solve as well, which is AI and machine learning applying to companies to tell them a lot about the skill set of their existing organization. AI and machine learning can also immediately tell you the future jobs of your talent and what skills they need to acquire to get to that next level job. One of the biggest misconceptions is that you can turn the homeless people of San Francisco into data scientists. Some can, but most no. It's a different type of skill set. There's two different types of skill sets when we think about it. And the World Economic Forum came out, a very good report talking about just the future of skills fall into two different areas. You've got personal skills that are communication, writing, negotiation, creativity, problem solving. These are personal skills. And then technical skills, which are much more related to digital data science, computer science. The whole world is coming out with every job needs to touch digital in one way or another. And so it's critical that organizations understand we've got to start offering capabilities or we need to start offering solutions to help our own employees upskill. And there's ways to do that. I mean, there's some incredible organizations today that are doing upskilling. Once identifying those skills, then giving them online training courses, Udemy, Udacity. These are all incredible companies that have come out with different ways that you can teach your employees right from their home or right from the company, new skill sets to prepare you better for the future. And, everyone knows that upskilling your employees is going to cost far less money than trying to just find that talent. In addition, it goes back to that Korn Ferry report, right? There just isn't enough talent. It's not out there. So we can kind of keep closing our eyes to it and saying, no, I'll find that talent when I need it. But the reality is it doesn't exist. We're going to have to, as the enterprise, start to take the priority on to train our people. So I think it's a really exciting time. I mean, we've seen so many organizations that are allocating an enormous amount of money to upskill our people. And I think it's a very good validation to those companies and to the employees in those companies, how much they matter for the organization. And so at a time like this, it's another big indicator to retain your good people as we care about you and we're going to keep teaching you great things so that when you leave here in a long-term future, that you're better off and you know more, but you've also made us go through that transformation much better.
That's interesting, kind of the framework around the personal skills as well as the technical skills. Do you think those two are related at all? So do we, as a company, as a culture, need more of an investment within personal skills to also be able to make the best use of any type of upskilling in technical skills? Because I think a lot of what we see across the landscape today is a huge focus on the technical skill side, which is, I think, important for very obvious reasons, especially for those of us who kind of live and breathe tech. But on the personal skills side, right, more your soft skills, things around creativity, leadership, communication, and so forth. Have you seen any sort of interesting strategies there? How do you kind of envision the relationship between that category and kind of the technical skill side?
Yeah, I think that it goes to, it's a great question. There is an overlap for sure. I think everybody in the world is changing from, if you think about it, more of kind of the day-to-day work into much more digital work. So day-to-day as we used to think about it. So, there's quite a lot of jobs that are going away that are traditional jobs that today we need to apply and understand they need to be done digitally. I mean, just this alone, right? If you're an event planner, your whole life just changed due to digital, right? If you're doing sales, your whole life just changed. And you can't just say, well, I'm a great salesperson if I'm in person and over a steak dinner. No, you have to be a great salesperson over Zoom. And so digital has changed a lot for people. And I think that's a big priority of the organization, is even those skills that you're talking about around personal skills, you have to look at them through the lens of, right, personal skills as applied to a digital world. And so the technical harder skills, or the technical skills that are nuanced around coding or data science, those are almost easier in a way, in my opinion, to train than it is to determine if somebody not only is good at creativity, but creativity in a digital world is kind of the next level of understanding too.
Got it. A question here from the audience. So
Yeah.
How does one hire well when everyone's working remotely, and still try to really kind of make those difficult assessments of culture fit?
Yeah, I found that the way that people can really hire well is to set the expectations very clearly up front and make sure that that is, have the KPIs, have the plan set out and say, this is critically important for you to have to hit, and track that more rigorously than you've ever done that before. Because if not, if you kind of go, great, we're going to give you your traditional 3 months of onboarding or whatever the time frame is to onboard, they don't really have a plan. They're not really sure where to evolve or how to stay in the organization. And I think it is important on both sides, the new hire side as well as the organization side, to be able to track success. And I'm a big believer, if people are not successful, then they shouldn't really be in that organization. So we need to make those decisions faster. And I think it does give us an opportunity in this environment to kind of recalibrate that and say, you got to hit this or you got to go. Because this is our priority and we got to move into this direction. But I also think giving people projects right out of the gate, get them excited, get them engaged, and is a very good way of hiring people and onboarding them so that they can learn.
Great. Well,
I'm seeing so many notifications out of time, so I'm like, oh, I've rushed through that answer.
Before we get booted off, really appreciate you making the time. For all of our audience, you can obviously reach out directly to Jo. Her email is jrelli@sentia.com. For anything on the business side, they're also raising their Series A right now if anyone's interested. But really appreciate you making the time. To all of our audience, hope you all stay safe and happy early Thanksgiving.
Thank you. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you so much again, Jo and Nuralogix. Really great stuff. And thanks so much to the audience for your polling questions. But now, without any further ado, we're going to dig into our startup presentation portion, our Batch 9 startups. Just a reminder that we will be polling after every startup presentation. If you're interested in a direct introduction to our founders here, we're happy to do that for you. But first, to kick us off, we have accern.
Hey everyone, I'm Kamesh Rumigan. I'm the co-founder and CEO of accern. So in this presentation, I'm going to tell you a little about the company and also the different types of insurance use cases that we're working on. So we started the company back in 2014. We have over 40 employees right now, actually. We're working with about over 50 enterprise customers, mainly within asset management, banking, and insurance. And we raised a total of over 15 million in venture capital so far. We recently closed our Series A back in March 2020. So basically what we do is we have a no-code data science platform that helps accelerate the building of different AI applications internally, where you can deploy these types of use cases very quickly. So a lot of our users are developers and data scientists, and they can basically build and deploy different types of AI application within minutes. We have two features on our platform. One is around text analytics. This is where you can upload a lot of unstructured text data, and we can start extracting key information from these unstructured text data and plugging these things into your system. So it automates manual workflow process. And then the second feature is around predictive analytics. So this is where you can build real-time recommendations, real-time predictions, using a lot of different structured data sets. And you can train a machine learning model and get these real-time decisions automatically. So those are the two features on the platform. And in terms of the use cases that you can build using these two features, specifically for insurance industry, there's about 5 different areas that we're working with. The first is around distribution. So this is where you have a lot of different meeting notes from different types of meetings that you're having with your customers, and you want to have analysis on top of that meeting notes now. So this is where we're dealing with a lot of insurance company where they're plugging and uploading all their meeting notes into our platform. And then we can start parsing and tagging these meeting notes with key information that may be important. And we're also able to apply sentiment analysis on the meeting notes, letting you know if the meetings went well or if it didn't. The second is around underwriting. So we're working with a few insurance companies in terms of automating their underwriting process with machine learning. So if they have a lot of different insurance data and application, we can train a machine learning model on massive amount of historical data, and we can automate that entire underwriting process of an underwriter and actually make real-time machine learning decisions in terms of if we should underwrite this application or not. Then the third is around claims. So there's two aspects to claims for insurance use case that we're dealing with. One is around P&C in terms of identifying early claims warning by tracking natural disaster events that's happening around the globe and identifying which of the companies that you provide insurance policies to might get affected by these natural disaster events. And then the second is around claim automation. So as you're getting all these claim documents and it's in PDF files, we can conduct OCR on these PDF, extract key information from these PDF documents, and automatically connect that to your claims management system. So it automates that entire workflow process right there. Then fourth is around financial crimes. So we're dealing with a lot of KYC use cases when it comes to insurance. So if a customer comes and apply for an insurance policy, we already have 8 years of historical public news and blog data where we can run a trace of these customers' name back in these public news and blog articles and start tagging these articles to see, has there been any type of financial crimes related to these customers, and automatically notifying the insurance company about these potential crimes before they give the insurance policy to these customers. Then lastly, it's around investment. So asset management customers have been a big part of accern. And so a lot of insurance companies do have an investment arm. And so this is where we can automate the entire investment research process of the investment side of the insurance company. And we can help gain additional insights as well in terms of their portfolio. We can monitor and consolidate a lot of different earnings transcripts and so forth, giving the insurance company, especially on their investment arm, better insights to basically make the right investment decisions. So that's about it in terms of all the insurance use case that we're working on. And if you would like to get in touch with us, feel free to go on accern.com and we'll definitely get back to you. Thanks a lot.
Perfect. Thanks so much. And a reminder again that you can reach out to the accern team via the poll. We're happy to facilitate an introduction there. And next up, our friends from across the pond, Describe Data.
Rumours of the underwriter's demise have been greatly exaggerated. At Describe Data, we use new data sources, together with AI, to arm underwriters with a superior understanding of risk, and then we just get out of their way. Like the $6 million man, the bionic underwriter is better, stronger, faster. Underwriting complex risks relies on qualitative information, as reliable data is hard to find, it's hard to handle, and it's hard to interpret. So what can we do about this? Meet Comprino, our analytics engine. We've built and trained Comprino to provide insights into financial lines risks such as directors and officers, employers' practice liability, and mergers and acquisitions. Here is an example of how we've used Comprino to build an underwriting workbench for directors and officers insurance. Comprino taps into massive amounts of data. Data from the financial markets, data from external news and media, and data from government and private sources. We then use machine learning and AI, together with cloud and web technologies, to understand, quantify, and visualize the risk. Let's look at how we do this. Maria is an underwriter. Maria has to underwrite a D&O risk for a large company. In this case, AT&T. Maria looks up AT&T and sees a summary of financial health, previous cases, company and sector news, and both frequency and severity estimates for the risk. This summary tells Maria AT&T suits her risk appetite. Maria can now use Comprino to understand more about the deal. She can choose from a large number of financial metrics and compare them against similar companies. Maria can also see relevant case histories and inspect company news and announcements. Comprino's modeling capabilities allow Maria to understand claim frequency at a company, sector, and market level. She can also do the same for claim severity. Maria can use Comprino to simulate the likely costs for any layer of risk, even allowing for commissions and profit. Finally, Maria can use Comprino to understand how this deal will fit into her portfolio and view aggregations, but also opportunities along any exposure metric. Maria is now armed with a superior understanding of her real risk. Comprino is not just another AI tool. It's been developed by seasoned industry insiders. It helps you develop a superior understanding of risk so you can separate deals into the good, the bad, and the ugly. It works on individual risks and existing portfolios, revealing problematic aggregations, but also new opportunities. Unlike many solutions, it's API first and works seamlessly with legacy systems. Uniquely, Comprino is standalone and ready for you to use. Comprino will save you money. Comprino will make you money. And Comprino allows you to quantify your risk appetite so you can write better deals faster. We're a core team of PhD data scientists, actuaries and techies with over 50 years experience in the insurance industry. I'm Michael. I trained as an actuary, and I've run my own software businesses for the past 20 years. Jerry is an insurance executive with 25 years international experience. The other Michael has a quant finance PhD, and he loves numbers even more than I do. We've built a cloud-based generic risk engine that allows us to build tools and get them into the hands of underwriters quickly. If you want to find out how Comprino can help you better understand your financial lines risks, talk to us.
Perfect. And next up, we're going to hear from Agara. And reminder that you can meet all of today's startups at our Remo session later this afternoon. But Agara.
Hi, my name is Abhimanyu. I am the founder and CEO of Agara. Today, we're going to talk about transforming your voice support. Agara is an autonomous voice conversation engine. It is capable of having full-length conversations with your customers, help them resolve their queries without involving a human agent. That means queries get resolved instantly, 24/7, and without the fetters of how many agents are actually available at a given point of time. Conversations with Agara are natural. There are no menus, there's no long list of options. Customers simply talk the way they would talk to another person. At the same time, call workflows are very easy to build, quick to build, and extremely quick to modify helping you respond to business challenges in near real time. And one of the biggest improvements is that you as a customer do not actually need to share training data just to get the platform working for you. Agara works in several contexts. In the insurance space itself, we see it replacing the traditional IVR construct. We see it helping customer onboarding, explaining new policies and terminologies to them, helping them update their policy details as well as managing their account, and finally, in the all-important claims management section. Instead of talking more about it, why don't we go ahead and show you a demo of how it deals with two of these important aspects.
Hey, I filed a claim a few days ago, so I want to track down my claim status. Can you please check?
Okay, you would like to track the status of your claim. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. Please help me with your claim number.
Sorry, I don't have my claim number with me at the moment. Is there any other way to track my claim?
I can also pull up your claim using your social security number, driver license number, or policy number. Which of these do you have available?
Oh, okay. I can provide my policy number.
Great, so you'll be giving me your policy number. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Please help me with your policy number.
Where can I find my policy number?
You should have received your policy documents in your mailing address and on your registered email address. You can find the policy number in your email.
Could you hold on for a minute and I'll quickly check my email?
Sure, I'll hold.
You were right. It was in my email. My policy number is 163997.
Your policy number is 163997. Is that correct?
I hope you really liked what you just heard. And because of these natural conversations, what we see is customer NPS actually gets bumped up by almost 10%. But you are also able to drive huge efficiency gains by almost doubling your contact center capacity while maintaining exactly the same set of staff. And the cost per call for calls handled by Agara drops by a dramatic 80% from where you are today. Some of the largest global companies around the world use Agara for various purposes inside their company. We would love to talk more, explore use cases where Agara could help you achieve digital transformation in your voice support process. Come talk to us. Thank you.
Awesome. And congrats to the Agara team for all the success this batch. And next up, we have Hyperscience.
Hi, everyone. My name is Whitney LeClaire, and I'm a manager on the strategic partnerships teams with Hyperscience. At its core, Hyperscience is an intelligent document processing company. We classify documents and extract data out of these documents. A little overview on Hyperscience. We were founded in 2014 with our focus being on the product. We went to market in 2018 and have gained quite a bit of traction in just over 2 years. We have offices in New York, which is where our headquarters is located, as well as London and Sofia, Bulgaria. Today, Hyperscience is a Series D company with over $190 million raised to date. We currently have approximately 200 employees and are continuing to grow even through this tough economic time. And lastly, on the right-hand side, you'll see some of our major accolades that we've received. We were named a major contender for the Everest Group and a 2019 Gartner Cool Vendor. Here's a few examples of the key market sectors where we've seen early adoption and success: insurance, financial services, and government. Here's a quick look at two of the most common business challenges that there hasn't been a fix for yet. The first is manual data entry. Manual data entry results in lower client satisfaction, lost revenue, increased risks, higher operating costs, and underutilized talents. The second challenge is with legacy OCR system performance. OCR systems are unable to read handwriting, they can't process low quality documents, and they lack performance improvements over time. So why do clients choose Hyperscience? Here are our key differentiators. First, we're able to ingest complex documents, including handwritten and poor quality documents. We're able to process these documents with 70 to 95% automation from day one. And then as we see more of these documents, our machine continues to improve performance over time. We also deliver our solution on-premise to mitigate security concerns. And finally, we are built for the business user. There's no need for scripting, and there's no need for any data scientist or IT team to be in control. So the solution is simply easy enough for any business user to use. Here's a diagram of how Hyperscience works. The end user would input a document into the machine. The machine then classifies the document and prepares to extract data from that document. Your company will set the accuracy rate that you're looking to achieve, and if our machine is not confident in what it's extracting, it will send that field out for what we call supervision. The human will then transcribe what was in the field that the machine had raised its hand on, and it will send the data back to the machine. From there, the machine will push the extracted data out in a JSON format. For the stars that you see on the left and right-hand side for both document ingestion and the output, we have flexible integration options or connectors, whether it be a REST API, message queue, or RPA tool. Lastly, I wanted to discuss the types of documents that we're able to extract from. First is a structured document, which is defined as having no change in field location. For example, a W-9 form that you can see on the screen. You're able to see here that there are fax burns, poorly written text, signatures, dates, and some scribbles as well. The second image is also flipped and entirely skewed, which our machine would be able to correct. The second type of document is a semi-structured document. A semi-structured document is defined as having a change in both the field location as well as the field nomenclature. Today, Hyperscience is unable to extract from unstructured documents, such as a lease agreement. However, we are able to classify that type of document. Thank you. We're looking forward to meeting with everybody.
Great. And I know Whitney and the team will be on Remo later this afternoon if you'd like to connect there as well. But next up, we're going to hear from Ollie and the team at Artificial Labs.
Hi there, I'm Ollie Fox from Artificial Labs. Thank you very much for having us here today. Artificial provides zero-touch underwriting for complex commercial lines and a best-in-class process for allowing human interaction where required. We have raised just over £5 million in our seed round and are currently a team of 35 world-class technologists and insurance professionals. So we're currently working with Aon, Axis, Chaucer and Convex, as well as a few others, where we've delivered some really great results, including a 75% reduction in the time to issue a commercial policy through our highly configurable platform, and insurers and brokers are able to rapidly model any insurance product and digitize the rate, quote, bind and issue process. One of the most, if not the most important parts of digital underwriting is getting the data onto the platform. This currently takes a substantial amount of time, and the triaging process is very, very manual. For example, recently one of our underwriter clients has explained to us that they spend up to 80% of their time saying no to risks that are out of appetite or that they have said no to before. We believe that our technology solves this problem across many different lines of business. We're currently working on the extraction of submission data from unstructured means such as email body texts, attachments, as well as APIs and portals. The demo today will bring this to life for you and follows the 4 following steps. Data extraction. We can scan through structured and unstructured documents to pick out specific pieces of data that help underwriters make their decision on whether to proceed or not to proceed with a risk. Data augmentation. We're able to augment these extracted data points with a relevant third-party data source. Risk scoring. We're able to automate appetite filtering with a customizable rules engine that uses the extracted data points to automatically filter out non-relevant submissions. And finally, we're able to play this information back to the underwriter, instantly allowing them to make a well-informed decision very quickly and have the option to go through to our or a third party's quote and buying platform. Thank you very much for listening. I'll pass over to our head of data, Alexi, who will walk you through the demo.
Thank you very much indeed, Ollie. So now is the time to walk you through our working prototype that we've built for one of our clients. And this is currently US property focused. Obviously, the plan is to extend that further. And what it's doing is extracting information from two different types of attachment that are in a typical submission. So the first type of attachment that we extract information from is called loss run, and these are typically PDF or scanned PDF documents that present information about historical claims that was made for this particular risk, and it can come in a variety of formats. So the second type of attachments are exposure files. These are essentially Excel documents listing important characteristics of the risk. In that case, they are a list of properties. They can be as few or as many as you like. So let's now process those files, and you can see the result for the first file, the loss run. Key data points were retrieved from this document. So these are about the limit, the different dates, and the total loss incurred. And if one field is not mapping to the correct one, there's a possibility to remap it to the one you need. So once the mapping is confirmed, our engine is essentially retrieving all these data points from all the different pages in the document and put that in a structured format, as you can see here. So now we come to the result of the extraction from the Excel file, where you can see two different addresses have been extracted. One has been confirmed as correct, whereas the second one seems to have a typo in it, but we are able to correct it using a third-party data provider and geolocate it on a map. So this is now the final insight screen that gives you everything you need to know about the risk. The bottom part gives you relevant statistics around the loss history. The middle part gives you all the different characteristics of the risk with the relevant risk factors. And the top part gives you all the different scores that can be used to automatically accept, decline, or refer submissions. So far, we've been focusing on how to augment the underwriting insight in order for him or her to take quicker and more informed decision. But what we are also able to do is to make use of the extracted data points from the various attachments that you've seen before. And from that, configure some appetite rules from the underwriter to automatically decline non-relevant submissions. So for example, you can see a list of 3 simple rules here. And the way it works is that we make available all the extracted data points that we have extracted from the various attachments of the submissions earlier. And we make that available from the underwriter to build his own logic in terms of appetite and the risk he wants to consider or not. So all of this is fully configurable, and it enables the underwriter to build his own appetite logic, so we can only see submissions that are relevant and therefore saving valuable time and effort.
Okay. Thanks so much, Ollie and Alexi. And next up, Friss.
Welcome to a quick demonstration of the Friss integration for Guidewire. This seamless integration helps you streamline legitimate claims, detect fraudulent ones, and keep insurance honest. Let's look at how simple this process can be. When a claims adjuster enters a first notice of loss, a Friss score, indicating the likelihood of fraud for each claim, is instantly shown at the top of the screen. A simple green, yellow, or red indicator gives you a straightforward risk indication, and a high Friss score means something suspicious is found. The Friss score is available in less than 2 seconds, giving the adjuster real-time, actionable risk indicators within their existing workflows. In this example claim, the insured, Rene, swerved to avoid hitting an animal and then sideswiped a guardrail. Based on information available through the claim, as well as numerous real-time third-party data checks, Friss returned a low score of 30. This indicates the claim carries almost no fraud risk, and the insurance carrier may elect to fast-track payment through a low-touch or touchless process. Based upon this prediction, the customer benefits from frictionless service and quick payment when appropriate. Several days after the initial claim is entered and paid, a passenger named Jennifer claims injuries. Since new information was added to the claim, Friss automatically rescreens the case in the background. A Friss score of 230 is now returned for this new exposure. Since this Friss score is high, it shows up as a red suspicion indicator and automatically blocks payments from being made. With exposure level scoring, you can now settle legitimate losses quickly while spending follow-up time only on suspicious ones. The insurance carrier can set up specific workflows, such as adding the case to a senior analyst's work plan for further review, or sending it directly to a triage or special investigations team. When an investigator logs in for the day, they'll see that this case is automatically shown and prioritized on their activity list. And they now have the actionable insights they need to make better decisions. When necessary, a Friss investigator can work this claim in the Friss Case Management suite of products. Within the Claim Center interface, the investigator can drill down to see exactly how the score was built up. In this example, the passenger is listed in the NICB database for an earlier fraudulent injury claim. The accident happened in a no-fault state while the passenger lives in Texas, and the Friss AI fraud model returned a high probability of fraud on this exposure. You can also see and review the history of the Friss score, which is automatically updated anytime new information is added. Once the investigation is completed, feedback is provided on the accuracy of the Friss score. This feedback allows self-learning Friss AI models to consistently adapt to new fraud scenarios and patterns, and helps the carrier track their fraud activity. Several configuration options allow carriers to modify Friss triggers and actions directly within Claim Center in order to best fit their risk appetite and workflows. Available as a DevConnect add-on, the Friss integration can be launched quickly, providing a near-instant ROI. Preventing payments on fraudulent claims considerably improves your combined ratio. Perhaps more importantly, paying trusted claims quickly will turn your customers' moments of misery into moments of magic, enhancing your reputation as a customer-first carrier. No one helps you fight fraud quite like Friss, and together with Guidewire, we are making insurance more honest.
Perfect. And do let us know if you're interested in connecting with the team at Friss. And next up, another portfolio company from all the way over in France, we have Monk AI.
Hello everyone, I'm Abou Laraki, co-founder and the CEO of Monk AI, a software solution that can evaluate any item's condition based on its visual aspect, with the first focus on mobility and insurance industry. So the idea is to take several pictures or a video of a car via your smartphone or a fixed camera, and then we automatically detect and classify any damage on the body of the car, and then we send reports via API. It can be, of course, applied to all the value chain of the automotive industry and the insurance industry. Of course, to achieve this challenging task, more than 80% of the team comes from best universities in Europe or research lab in Europe or in the US. I'm also I'm still head teaching assistant at École Polytechnique, and my co-founder Faisal Slawi, who graduated from Central Supélec, worked at Thales Technology on drone detections. We also have several scientific partners, for example, École Polytechnique or ENS, and we also have some automotive partners that allow us to go beyond of the state of the art. Concretely, how does it work? It's actually done by 4 steps. The first one is the capture of the data. It's what you see here. There is no magic in what we do. We have one golden rule. As long as the human eye can see the damage, our AI will see it too. So we need to see the damage via the pictures. We do a pre-processing phase where we make sure that there is no fraud, that the quality of the pictures are good enough to be analyzed. Then we do car part segmentation that allow us to standardize the approach. And finally, we do damage detection. So actually, every damage has a typology, a severity, a location, which allow us to provide at the end a full estimate of the damage. As I said, it can be applied in different steps of the vehicle inspection. We can provide a self-care approach that allows the user to take all the pictures, and we make sure that the quality is good to be and not fraud to be analyzed. We also provide 2 products around the vehicle inspection. So you take 8 pictures of a car, and we automatically detect if there is a damage and classify it. And finally, we have a product for claim automation that allow the customer to have a full estimate of the damage. To achieve our objective, we have done 2 fundraising with the Iris Capital, which is one of the biggest fund in Europe, focusing on AI and insurance. We also have a plug and play in our investor and other very insightful business angel that help us grow very fast. Regarding the traction, our great results and easy of integration allowed us in only 1 year to get in touch with several world leaders, and now we have more than 12 clients in pilot or in production. So, for example, we work with Porsche, with Bosch, with GetAround, with several automotive expert and insurance in Europe, and we also have been recognized by several prizes during this year. So please, if you have any question or request a demo of our solution, I'll be very happy to get in touch with you. Bye.
Great. And happy to have Monk as part of the portfolio family, and congrats to the team for closing out an excellent year. And next up, we have Safekeep.
I'm Jeff, straight from New York City, and we are the team behind ClaimFlow, a subrogation platform which empowers the next generation of claim professionals to identify recovery potential and efficiently pursue it. When we successfully recover dollars, we can reimburse customers on deductibles, keep loss ratios low, and keep premiums reasonable for customers. Good recovery practices also protect profitability. In spite of this, recovery processes and decisions remain highly manual, and over 3/4 of the data required to make those decisions is unstructured. Here's how it works. Step number 1, identify and aggressively pursue blind spots. ClaimFlow manages these models and business rules, runs them behind the scenes, and crucially, runs them on real-time data earlier in the process, preferably at the first notice of loss, instead of waiting till later when the claim is paid. This way, we prevent any spoliation of crucial evidence. By the time the adjuster, SIU, or recovery professional enters their queue, ClaimFlow will have already executed over 3,000 out-of-the-box business rules, eliminating false positives and showing just the claims that require action by the recovery and SIU teams, to ensure that your most important claims are at the top of the work queue according to that claim professional's level of authority and line of business. If the recovery professional wants more details on the reasons why the claim was flagged for recovery, he or she can click into the claim profile, which identifies the key details from your underlying legacy claims admin system and seamlessly enriches that data with recovery-specific datasets. ClaimFlow provides up to 33 recovery-specific dashboards in real time. You can expect an ROI of at least 75% and a payback period of less than 6 months. To simulate a real-time use case, we analyzed only day 1 information. In other words, information that is available immediately after the first notice of loss or injury, before efforts by the adjusters to accumulate more information. This allows us to demonstrate ClaimFlow's value for triaging claims without relying on any further action. They are pre-tested not only by our data scientists, but by our full-time staff of subro analysts, each with over 15 years of claim experience. Let's look at step 2. Shift resources to where it matters. Recovery professionals must sift through details buried in notes, emails, and documents, and they must navigate to them in various places and systems where recovery is an afterthought with kludgy experiences. When each recovery professional could have as many as 1,000 claims in their work queue, it is obviously not physically possible today to manually look through each and every claim. ClaimFlow, on the other hand, recognizes entities. Notes become immediate insights into patterns and anomalies, and they are served to claim professionals in workflows and dashboards that were purpose-built for recovery. Finally, let's talk about step 3, make customers happy. With ClaimFlow, The customer can report first notice of injury while regulatory and special handling rules run behind the scenes. They could submit pictures, reports, and recorded statements and get status of their deductible reimbursements in real time. Today, insureds, claimants, and brokers report losses and get status updates via phone and email. And evidence not collected on a timely basis is subject to spoliation. We are ready to scale our 3-step program globally, since we expect our learnings to be highly transferable. We are ready to perform annotation on claims in non-English speaking regions. ClaimFlow integrates with your existing claims systems of record and could surface insights up to your engagement layer or workflow application of choice. We play nice with your existing environment. Out of 369 companies, we are proud to be a Global Silver Award winner of the EFMA and Accenture's Innovation in Insurance Award. And of course, we are honored to be recognized in the Zurich Innovation Championship. Thank you, and see you soon.
Thank you, Jeff. Great stuff. And I know Jeff will be online for Remo later if you want to tune in and learn more about ClaimFlow there. And next up, a pretty familiar face. Please welcome Vero.
Hi guys, my name is Ali Safavi. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Vero. Vero is trying to redefine how people manage personal risk. The way that they do it today is mainly through insurance, and they're doing that all wrong. The majority of people are underinsured, overpaying, or not, at least not optimizing for their budget and kind of like how they could save more, and they have no idea. And one thing that is important to notice is that contrary to the popular belief that many people are not looking for, the majority of the population, in fact, is not looking for just the cheapest amount of coverage in order to save money. They want the optimum amount of coverage for the right amount of money and for their budget. And they really want personalized guidance to be able to do that. And they want it online as well as offline. And doing that today is difficult because you have to deal with agents from one side, which in a lot of cases is offline. You can't really get access to them online. And it also has an incentive issue. And the other side of it is to do a lot of content research yourself, which is very time consuming. And that's where Vero comes in. We're the intelligent, holistic risk and insurance advisor to help people understand what is it that they need, get the protection they want. And then slowly over time, we're trying to build a risk manager beyond just focusing on insurance. Vero's approach is to be transparent, which means anything that we do, the customer needs to be able to understand so they have context to make their own decision. It's holistic in the sense that we look at the broader financial picture rather than just a single line. It's unbiased because it's very much data-driven and is automated for the best user experience. And we're not trying to replace agents, we're trying to work with them. Right now, we're piloting our product with multiple agencies and for Ash with multiple credit unions and financial advisors to give them an online presence to be able to upsell and cross-sell every line, to reduce costs by doing a lot of automation for free, and to have a very differentiated value proposition. The way that the user experience would work working with an agent is that we provide a co-branded interface for the agent that is online, and the customer could start with a holistic analysis, or they could start with a single line to start there for advice or just getting a quote. From there, it takes 2 minutes for the customer to complete the onboarding. They could interact with their agent, and then from there, we generate a protection score for them to help them understand where their coverage gaps are today. Where and that what does that mean in terms of money they could lose using actuarial science and predicting or kind of projecting how much do they have in terms of exposure. And then from there, what are the different categories of risk and their assets, and what are the different risks that could affect them, and where is the protection coming from their savings, government benefits, as well as insurance coverage. And then we generate a protection plan that includes what insurance they should buy from their employer and what insurance they should buy through the agency. And if they already have auto, we could help them understand if they have the right amount, or if we could help them with a better price to always make sure the customer has the best price possible. It looks at overlaps. We provide widest recommendation. And at the end of the journey, they could get quotes online, which the online quotes should be ready in a week or two. And if at any point they want to talk to their agent, they will have an interface to communicate with them through email or chat or text. We're looking to partner with brokerage firms, carriers with independent or captive agent force to help them optimize their point of sale and their agent advisory services. I also want to thank all of our advisors for being part of our journey, Matt Weber, Mike Consada, and Tapambad, and everyone else. Thank you so much for listening. This is my email. We would love to show you a demo.
Thank you, Ali, and congratulations. And please do let us know if we can help you be connected to Vero. And next up, PolicyDock.
Hi, my name is Roger Ying. I'm the CEO and co-founder of PolicyDock. Legacy core systems create a massive data nightmare for insurers. Insurers have to deal with different distributors and channel partners, and these partners integrate with insurers via long email chains of PDFs and Excels. Then within the insurer, the many different systems use different file formats to talk to each other, which subsequently have to integrate with reinsurers and regulators and provide reports in their file format versions. In short, hundreds of thousands of hours are wasted by highly skilled data scientists and actuaries doing mundane data recoding and reformatting work. This is a systemic problem in this global 5 trillion year industry, and every entity and department uses different software systems that results in paralysis throughout the value chain. These massive challenges need to be addressed, and to summarize the problem, change requires large investment, data does not flow freely, and systems integration is a headache. The way we solve these problems is we provide a turnkey platform via our no-code product configurator, a standard data model that serves data via open, user-friendly APIs, all based on scalable cloud microservices architecture. Change can now happen low risk and fast. Given an insurance product, we digitize it and we provide a microservices platform with APIs deployed automatically, all within a matter of days. The unified data standard simplifies integration for all stakeholders, whether it's internal in the organization or amongst all your external partners. You now have one well-documented data model to translate between different systems that serves data via user-friendly, secure, and permissionable APIs. These APIs conduct the entire insurance workflow, all the way from policy administration, underwriting, product configuration, document management, all the way to claims notice of first loss. You now have full control and integration with both product and distribution partners. It also comes with a simple yet powerful white label online portal, which means whatever you can do programmatically via API, you can also do via the web. So let's tell you about some of the use cases we're working on. In one example, legacy core systems do not integrate into new digital channels and technologies, while insurers wish to move to a new core policy administration system. Our policy data platform allows insurers to seamlessly integrate into new digital channels and tools while structuring, securing, and keeping your data well documented, affording the insurer the time and flexibility to move to the new core policy administration systems. With embedded mobility insurance, our microservice has all the APIs available to embed insurance as part of the ride-hailing experience, leveraging all the data already available within the apps. A seamless proposal, quote, and bind experience is now created, all within a matter of milliseconds. In terms of our company and funding, we've gone from company formation to prototype to MVP and starting pilots and bootstrapped all the way up to now. Our current progress is we're part of plug-and-play Insurtech batches Singapore and Silicon Valley. We have pilots with 2 large carriers, one in Asia, one in the US. We have partnerships with 3 Insurtechs, and we have strong deal flow, including negotiations with a global multinational carrier. We're targeting to raise a seed round, which will help us grow the business for the next 12 to 18 months, and thereupon raising a Series A. To introduce the management, I've been in fintech since 2008 and led and grew a fintech to 200 staff across 5 cities in China. And Danny has led several startups across AI, big data, and blockchain. We're building a world-class board of advisors across big data, insurance executives, as well as successful SaaS entrepreneurs. So in summary, we provide a low-risk path to digital agility and unlocking the potential of your data. Thank you for your time and welcome to reach out to us at info@policydock.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. And do let us know if we can help connect you. And next up, our friends, the Climate Service.
Hello, my name is Joey Lake. I'm the COO of the Climate Service. We provide a SaaS technology platform to help companies, governments, and financial institutions to measure their risk from climate change. That includes physical risks like wildfires, flooding, drought, and temperature extremes, as well as transition risks such as carbon pricing. Demand for our platform is driven by 3 factors: regulation, investor pressure, and increased financial losses from catastrophic weather events. The regulatory pressure will only increase in the US in 2021 as the Federal Reserve announced this week that climate risk is financial risk, and US banks and investors are starting to stress test their portfolios to climate risk. Our company is 3 years old, founded in 2017, and extremely fast growing. Sales are increasing at a pace of around 400%, and we've quadrupled in size to meet that demand, expanding from 5 employees a year ago to more than 20 today. Unusual for a technology company, we are 70% female and 40% people of color. We raised a Series A investment round in April of around $4 million, which we are investing into the team and the product. We have an advisory board that includes 4 IPCC Nobel Prize recipients and several other people who've dedicated most of their professional careers to better understanding the financial consequences of climate change. Our platform is aligned with the Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosures. This is the global framework for climate risk disclosure, so our customers use it for help in preparing their TCFD disclosure reports, as well as for the insights that inform their strategic decision-making. Our Climanomics platform models multiple climate scenarios from present day all the way to 2100 for any point on the planet. Some of the questions we help our customers to answer include the what, where, and when of climate change. What are your top risk factors? Which of your facilities or your supply chain is most at risk? And when are you likely to experience the worst effects of climate change? Our clients are diverse and span every industry, from real estate investors to asset managers to Fortune 500 companies to governments. Some really big news for us recently: Forrester Research named us as the global leader in its independent assessment of the climate risk analytics industry, saying both that we lead the pack and provide the most complete climate risk platform. We announced 4 major partnerships this year: Aon, IBM, LMI, who provide our platform to the US federal government, and the AICPA. Now I'd like to show you a quick demonstration of the platform itself. So here you can see around 100 offices owned by one company all around the world. The risk from climate change in 2020 is quite low. If we jump forward 2 decades, you can see that the risk has increased as those circles turn from green, which is low risk, to red, which is high risk. You can then select any of these offices in particular. So let's scroll down here and pick this one in Melbourne, Australia. You can see how its risk from climate change evolves over time for this facility, and then you can also see what's driving that risk. In this particular instance, it's coastal flooding, and you can see here the risk from coastal flooding, how that hazard will evolve over time. You can see the big increase from the 2050s onwards, and then the vulnerability of this particular asset to that hazard. Please do reach out if you're interested in learning more. Our mission is to embed climate data into every financial decision on the planet in order to accelerate the transition to a low carbon economy, and we welcome more partners on our journey to achieving that mission.
Thank you so much, Joey. And next up, some friends from my hometown of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Conservation Labs.
Hi, my name is Mark Kovsek. I'm a mathematician and the founder and CEO of Conservation Labs. Our mission is to enable cost-effective and sustainable water use. In the US alone, unwanted water use costs us over $70 billion every year. We experience significant water loss from aging distribution systems all the way through its use in where we live, eat, and work. Protecting our water resources, your property, and a carrier's bottom line has been too costly and too inconvenient until now. We invented a way to make a simple microphone understand water flow with machine learning. For about $100 from a single location in a home or similar sized property, H2Note quantifies all water use, classifies the use, and detects leaks in real time. It takes only a few minutes and no plumber is required. A UK-based pilot for social landlords revealed that H2Know would realize savings of over 4 million gallons of water and 1.3 million kilotons of CO2 for a landlord with over 200 properties. Water costs and maintenance costs were demonstrated to be reduced by over $500,000 per year for this landlord and their residents. Our objective is to create over $400 in value for every home or individual apartment every year. $40,000 for a typical mid-rise building, and in a restaurant, the value approaches $10,000 each year. The value for insurance carriers can actually exceed the $10 billion in losses associated with water peril. There are 3 market trends that are accelerating in 2020: control of property, sustainability, and high brand standards. Brands that capture these emergent trends and create customer value will accelerate their growth. H2O can help by providing peace of mind from catastrophic leaks, by creating awareness of water use and conservation opportunities, and by improving your customers' experience and aligning with and promoting your brand's values and sustainability. These opportunities are present in real estate, consumer goods, and food service, to name a few. In the insurance sector, research suggests that capturing these emergent trends, can create 5 times more value than liability mitigation alone through premium growth, customer retention, and customer acquisition. We have proven H2O's value and approach, and with over 50 pilots representing hundreds of thousands of properties ranging from multi-tenant to commercial kitchens to homes in the US, Europe, and Asia, I'm pleased to announce H2O is launching this month. H2O is now the most affordable, actionable, and adaptable smart water technology in the market. Our pilot to launch process is designed to both demonstrate value and create a plan to manage risk and accelerate growth. Our team of engineers and data scientists is passionate about helping people and improving the environment for future generations. Our mission is to enable cost-effective and sustainable water use, and we are inviting you to join us on our mission. You can find me at mark@conservationlabs.com. Thank you.
Great, and congratulations on the launch, Mark. And please let us know if we can connect you to Mark and the team at Conservation Labs. And next up, Urban Sky.
Hi, I'm Andrew Antonio, the co-founder and CEO of Urban Sky, where we are commercializing the stratosphere, one of the last underutilized layers of Earth's atmosphere, and we are revolutionizing access to remote sensing data in the process. The stratosphere sits in the area between low Earth orbit and commercial airspace, but it's been largely ignored despite offering the high vantage point of space at a cost drastically less than accessing orbit. That creates a massive opportunity to conduct broad area remote sensing in higher resolution than satellites at a much lower cost. But there's a problem. It's very difficult to routinely and predictably operate vehicles in the stratosphere. Most commonly, the stratosphere is the domain of small weather balloons, but you can't use those for remote sensing because they're uncontrollable and they pop as soon as they reach a high altitude. At Urban Sky, we're building placeable, predictable flight path balloon systems. We call this new stratospheric vehicle a microballoon. It's an IP-protected vehicle that leverages advances in component miniaturization and first-of-its-kind balloon reusability to unlock high-resolution, highly refreshed remote sensing data over targeted areas. And we have the right team to make this future a reality. I myself led commercial sales and marketing at Worldview, a pioneer in stratospheric technology from pre-seed to Series C prior to founding Urban Sky. My co-founder and CTO, Jared Leidick, has been awarded 5 patents for stratospheric balloon technologies and led spacesuit design and operations for the highest human balloon flight and skydive of all time. Now, we'll soon be capturing 3 times better resolution imagery than satellites. And compared to aircraft, we capture comparable image resolution, but 4 to 10 times more frequently at a mere fraction of the cost. We're combining the best of both of these platforms, giving us high resolution, fresh, low cost data, a long sought after trifecta in our industry. In less than 1 year, we've already designed, built, and flown the first ever reusable high altitude balloons and collected our first sample aerial imagery, pictured here. And we've got a great investment team. We've raised just over $1 million in oversubscribed pre-seed rounds from New Stack Ventures, 10110, Catapult Ventures, and Techstars. We also just won a $250,000 cash grant from the state of Colorado as a top startup in the state. And we won a $115,000 contract from NASA JPL to further develop our vehicle for real-time wildfire monitoring applications. Now, our initial commercial focus is on supporting insurance companies. Our high-resolution, highly refreshed aerial property data will support improvements in underwriting and claims processing workflows. Insurance companies leverage high-resolution imagery to help price risk and settle claims, but their data is often out of date, low resolution, or very expensive. We intend to solve all three of those pain points with our stratospheric vehicle. In fact, we're already working with our very first commercial customer in the insurance industry. It's a company called Arturo, with whom we're conducting a 1-year imaging pilot program. Arturo is developing breakthrough predictive insights for the insurance industry with higher resolution, fresh data over urban areas, and believes our data can be a game changer for their customers. In addition to insurance applications, our data will support a variety of high-impact applications that already use or have the potential to use high-resolution, fresh aerial data. We'll also soon expand into thermal and infrared remote sensing, and we'd love to connect with anyone interested in leveraging our data. With a new wealth of data generated from the stratosphere, Urban Sky will fundamentally change the collective human understanding of the surface of our planet and urban centers. We look forward to speaking with you soon. Thank you.
Great stuff, Andrew. And next up, we have Ecopia AI.
My name is John Lipinski, and I'm the president and co-founder of Ecopia AI. At Ecopia, we're digitizing the world using artificial intelligence. What I mean by that is we're taking every source of geospatial data we can get our hands on, everything from satellite imagery, aerial imagery, street view imagery, address data, parcel data, putting that into a computer, mining it with our AI, and outputting a digital representation of reality, or a digital twin, as some would call it. And once you have this digital twin, a lot of very powerful and interesting analytics then become unlocked. And we've been doing this sort of work for many years. Our data is now embedded into hundreds of customer applications spanning over 100 countries around the world. And we actually didn't start in insurance. We started in other industries such as telecommunications, government, NGOs. And it was through these industries that we really became to appreciate the value and importance of very highly accurate data at a large scale. So we're bringing all these learnings into the insurance industry now. And I'll talk through a few success stories here. Back in 2016, we created the first complete map of every building across the continent of Australia. This was done for the federal government. Here's the inputted satellite imagery, and this is the outputted map, 16 million buildings across 7 million kilometers squared. And you can see the level of accuracy in the top right that we're achieving here. And it's important to note this, specific to the insurance industry who's using this sort of data as a foundational geometry. What I mean by that is if you're going one step further and saying, what's the roof type or roof condition under this outline? You need a very accurate outline of that building. If you're using an outline on the bottom right here, where it might capture some trees or some surrounding pavement, and you say, what's the roof type or roof condition under this outline, going to be left with a very misleading answer. So that was 2016. A couple years later in 2018, we completed a similar initiative for the United States. It was the first and only complete map of every building in the entire United States. 169 million buildings across 8 million kilometers squared of the contiguous US, and we completed this in the same 6-month time frame as we did Australia, which really speaks to the way that AI continued to scale up during this time. Lastly, a little bit outside the scope of insurance, but important to show the power of what's possible when you leverage AI and geospatial imagery, is an initiative we just completed a couple months ago. And this was the first and only complete map of every building, road, and forest across sub-Saharan Africa. So let me now switch gears a bit and talk about how this all relates to the insurance industry. Well, about 12 months ago, when we started turning our focus to the insurance industry, we realized that there was a lot of buzz in the industry around advanced property attributes. But when we took a look at the problem, we figured that there was two largely unsolved problems that existed here. One was foundational geometry, so getting the right outline of each building in the area of interest. And the second was geocoding, having the right address associated with that outline. And then and only really then can you start to look at advanced property attributes. For example, if you're looking at extracting a list of 50 or even 100 property attributes, but they've been created using the wrong outline or tagged with the wrong address, that's going to be very misleading for your downstream processes as an insurer. So we decided to focus on these two pieces in the form of the best building-based geocoding on the market. So a bit of a crash course in geocoding for those who aren't as familiar with it. If you ever enter an Uber, an address on an Uber and you get a point down the street or on the wrong building, that is a geocoding problem. Geocoding is address in, point on a map out. Most of the insurance industry is using a combination of either street level geocodes or parcel level geocodes today. And that means when you enter an address in a quotation or any sort of risk analysis or claims, you get a point that's either on the street or in the center of the parcel. Of course, this does not always represent the location of the building, which can be very misleading for analyses such as, is this building close to a flood zone or factors that could affect wildfire. What the industry is moving very quickly towards now is building-based geocodes, which means that when you enter an address, you get a point on top of the correct building every time. To do that adequately, you of course need a complete map of every building in the region. So this is the exact product that we've brought to market as our flagship product for the insurance industry, the first and only complete building-based geocoding solution for the United States. 4 out of the top 10 US carriers are now using this data, and we'd be very interested in speaking with some of you about how this data can improve your processes. Hope to speak with some of you soon. Thank you very much.
Thanks, John. And do let us know via the poll if you're interested in connecting with Ecopia. And next up, Flareless.
Hello, my name is Diogo, and I will present to you Flareless. We work trying to mitigate wildfires. We know that is a huge problem, a multi-billion-dollar problem, and like this year was the worst year ever in the West Coast. And one thing that we discovered in this bet is that a lot of companies, a lot of insurance companies, they fight hard to calculate risks, but we don't see anyone trying to mitigate losses. And this is what we are offering. Flareless use remote data from satellites and nanosatellites to provide a daily wildfire forecast. And with this forecast, you can do a lot of things before the fire happens. So with this remote data, we can see declivity, hillshade, human presence, soil and coverage. And we have one secret variables that can change every week. And with that, we can provide a wildfire forecast alert for chemical industries, cellulose companies, and neighborhoods. And we have 23 years studying geodesic sciences, remote data. We put 10 million hectares mapped to build the model. And we are now with 90% of accuracy. You can see that here, the black dots, it's the highest risk zones, and the real fires occurred in exactly the same point that we delivered. So this is campfire. We put the algorithm into the data, and we get a good results with campfire. We are 4 partners, Gil, Marcos, Leonardo, and me. Marcos is our partner with PhD in geodesic sciences. And we want to connect nanosatellites data from the model. And now in November, in December, we will finalize the final platform. And next year, we will go to market to deliver the solution. Thank you very much. I hope that you want to mitigate losses with us. So please reach us at later than an event. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Diogo. And next up, a team having a lot of success while in 2 plug-and-play programs, Travel and Insurtech, Rene.
Hi, everyone.
My name is Attilio, and I'm the CEO and founder of Rene. A few years ago, I had an accident while I was traveling that left me with a $12,000 bill that my insurance company didn't cover. You see, the insurance that you're getting from your credit card, or even your employer's insurance, is not enough to cover the needs of the modern traveler. And if you're a business, you're liable for whatever happened to your employees while they're abroad. In order to address this, we created Rene, a platform that helps the world get back to safe travels by using an algorithm that matches the right type of insurance for every trip and gives user access to medical services around the world. Besides our algorithm and easy access to hospitals, Rene has everything to keep you safe and healthy, providing safety information, travel advisories, and even COVID-19 updates, making it the perfect tool to comply with duty of care requirements. Our dashboards allows HR or travel managers to control how Rene is implemented, setting up trips, purchasing insurance, and even creating travel policies for the entire organization. This may come as a surprise, but the travel insurance market, it's a $19 billion industry. And with over 233 million international trips every year, the market opportunity is huge. But instead of going after each customer individually, our model involves partnering up with agencies, travel management firms, and other providers who are already selling to our ideal customers. Our platform allows companies to stay compliant with travel regulations in a modern way. Instead of paying exorbitant consulting fees, our customers pay a monthly subscription to access our travel intelligence tools, and then they pay for insurance only when they need it. We launched in December last year, and we were almost tripling our sales every single month, making over $20,000 in MRR, but then COVID happened. And just like after 9/11, we believe that COVID will change how people travel forever. But for us, COVID worked as an accelerant that allowed us to double down on our efforts to make travel a safer, more caring experience for everyone. And the way that we're doing this is by adapting our solution to cover the needs of travelers who are now struggling to comply with these new regulations. We introduced a new dashboard with more customizations and added more resources to our travel intelligence platform. And we are proud to announce a partnership with a leading healthcare company to offer COVID-19 tests to all of our customers. I started my first company when I was 17 years old. Along with Gustavo, my current co-founder and CTO, we met 15 years ago in high school and worked together ever since. Besides our team, with whom we had the pleasure to work with for almost half of our lives, we recently brought Kevin Mitchell on board, a corporate travel leader with over 45 years of experience advising companies and governments. To sum it up, we found product market fit in an industry with huge potential. We position ourselves to succeed after a global pandemic. We create partnerships with key players in the industry, securing access to customers. We raise institutional money from well-known firms, and we're already making an impact on an industry that hasn't seen any significant change for over the past 20 years. If you're interested in making travel safer, please come talk to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and congratulations, Attilio. And next up, a quick word from Brightside.
Navigating financial headaches can be a hassle, and when it comes to debt, unexpected expenses, and high interest rates, life can get downright stressful. The good news is, thanks to your employer, it doesn't need to be. Hi, my name is Peter. I'm not a bot. I'm a real person who works for Brightside. Together, we create a plan specifically tailored for you that helps you with your money problems. Brightside has teamed up with your company to offer a financial health employee benefit. It's always 100% confidential, and unlike other financial planners, working with Brightside won't cost you a penny. Thousands of working families trust Brightside every day to help them navigate all types of financial struggles. Take Steve, a recent client. He's a hardworking driver who's committed to supporting his family. Over the past few months, life threw Steve some curveballs, a car accident and unexpected medical bills. He watched his credit card debt growing bigger and started to feel uneasy. He fell behind on monthly payments and late fees started piling up. And as if that wasn't enough, his refrigerator broke. When he called me, Steve was overwhelmed. I first helped Steve by finding a low-cost loan to fix his refrigerator. The loan is only available through Brightside, but we don't make any money off this loan. It's just to benefit Steve and his family. I even called a repair service to make sure he was getting the best deal. Then we looked at options to refinance his credit cards so he could pay less interest each month and get out of debt faster. As we were talking, we even found car insurance that's a better fit and a less expensive phone plan, both of which saved him even more every month. Now, Steve logs into the Brightside app every couple of days to check his progress, and we talk every few months to help him find more ways to save on expenses, take advantage of employer benefits, and create a cushion in case another emergency situation pops up in the future. Whether you're concerned about an unexpected financial problem or long-term financial goals, Brightside is here to help. To get the most out of your Brightside benefit, call us or download the app today. We'll connect you with a Brightside financial assistant who is ready to help create a financial plan that meets your needs. This is financial care for you.
Great. And do let us know if we can help connect you to Anthony and the team at Brightside. And next up, we have Pluto.
Welcome to Pluto. We're building a smart health assistant that helps patients take care of business. We believe in empowering people and getting things done. We believe that enabling access to your health data improves care. The problem with health data today is that it's siloed and inaccessible for many. On average, we change health insurance and providers several times throughout our lives, and it takes about 3 weeks to get records. The current state is pretty arcane. Patients must remember their names of their health providers or the names of the health centers to fill out their forms. And if they're tech savvy, they have to recall portal logins to access their data. There's a further burden for patients to make sense of all of the data once it's obtained. What we've created is Pluto. Pluto is the smart health assistant that enables access to your data and provides personalized insights. We help patients get stuff done by streamlining access so that they can get better care. Patients can have Pluto even if their insurance or providers change. The way Pluto works is that it pretty much operates like a smart health assistant. Step one is allowing Pluto to get your health data. We unify your health data across siloed health systems so we can access your data, whether your health system operates on, say, Epic or Cerner or any other electronic health record keeping system. And then step two is that we allow you to access your insurance information through their websites, and it allows you to tap into your digital wallet and pay your bills. And the third piece is that going on just beyond data aggregation is that we provide personalized insights that is curated based off of the data that we collect from your medical record. What you get with Pluto is one unified interface for your insurance and your bill payments, along with your medical records, even if you switch providers, and then personalized insights based off of your data. What we're really excited about is leveraging network effects, where you can store the entire family onto the phone and share access to caregivers in one platform. What makes Pluto unique is that we make it easy for patients. Patients don't have to have a portal login to start using Pluto. We can help access their insurance or their electronic health data and help create accounts on behalf of patients. The market opportunity is large for both research and healthcare marketing. A lot of money is being spent for aggregating records, both on the research end and also for the content done in the healthcare industry. There's further need in uncompensated care, so bad debt and lost payments for insurance companies. As well, the market for mining data has grown significantly for AI and machine learning. We have a great pipeline for user acquisition. We anticipate that we'll have about 25 to 50,000 users within 12 months through our signed pipeline. We currently have signed contracts for clinical trials where we are being paid $800 to $1,600 per patient per record synced. We also are beta testing our claims payment functionality with one of the top 5 health insurance carriers. We have absolutely no user acquisition cost. We actually get paid to acquire users and put them on our platform. As we grow, we anticipate partnerships with hospitals and the growing telemedicine companies at points of care and times of need. So whenever a medical record is requested, we can make that available to our partners. And at maturity, we anticipate more and more partnerships with payers in the insurance industry. The way that we're different from our competition is that we focus on a personalized experience by providing value-add features just beyond data aggregation. So we leverage data access and translate it into action and insights. So what we're really focused on is making patient experience a top priority, making sure that patients don't have to remember the names of their providers and they don't have to remember their portal logins. We alleviate clunky interfaces. Then we also help complete tasks such as accessing your insurance and paying your bills. We also make the content really personal for patients. So we use AI to produce curated content and provide personalized suggestions based off of the patient's data. Our business model is B2B2C. Our market segments include the insurance industry, payers, and research and clinical trialists, as well as hospital and provider system. The largest value add that we can provide for insurance is streamlining underwriting. We're able to access records quickly within a few minutes, and we can also help aggregate the records in a meaningful way. So for instance, if someone is applying for disability or insurance for the very first time, we're able to get those records and also copies of their reports in a streamlined fashion.
Some really great stuff from the Pluto team. And I know Joy would love to dig in more, so do let us know if we can help connect you. And next up, Cake.
Hi, my name is Sulin Chen. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Cake. We are the leading solution for helping people do end-of-life planning and navigate mortality. This is a fundamental human need that we all need to figure out for ourselves and for our loved ones. Not planning has such dire consequences. People can receive healthcare that they don't want to receive. People's families can get torn apart with conflict, and people can lose a lot of money and get taken advantage of during a really vulnerable time in their lives. The world really needs a solution like Cake. And we know that there's huge consumer demand for this. Last year, our goal was to become the largest in this space and get 150,000 visitors a month organically. We've 10x that goal. We have more than 1.5 million visitors a month organically now. And that's not just from our great marketing strategy. It's also because there's just huge consumer demand for support around end-of-life planning. So today, Cake is the first stop for a lot of consumers with end-of-life planning needs. We can serve them with our own products or we can refer them to products and services that our partners offer. We take a comprehensive approach to planning because we know that it's all interconnected and people want everything in one place. The way we help people is with thousands of original articles and content that helps them understand the space, and with interactive tools that help them actually do planning, as well as with a community. Our tools are really easy to use. We offer simple questions, the ability to upload and manage documents, and grant access to other people. We also have proprietary algorithms that tailor the user experience depending on the person's life situation and what we know that they need, because we understand that people are coming to us with a variety of different motivations around end-of-life planning. So not only do we understand consumers, we also work with large organizations, including banks and insurance companies, employers, and healthcare organizations. And the reason these companies want to work with us is to deepen and strengthen their relationship with their current customers, also to grow their customer base because we access so many different people who have needs in end of life, as well as to educate their audience about other products and services they offer, and to tap into our unique data set to really understand the needs of their customers and to be able to test new products. These are some of the organizations that we're already working with, and I'll walk you through a case study with one of them. So we've been working with RBS NatWest. They're one of the largest banks in the UK, serving 19 million customers. They came to us wanting to offer digital end-of-life planning to their banking customers. So we built a custom solution for them, integrated into the banking API, and we're now live. We're rolling out to millions of customers in the next couple months, and we're actually already planning the next phase of expansion geographically and across more brands. So here's an example of our software with the bank branding overlaid on it. So now we've had so much experience working with our partners, and we've shown that we can successfully drive referrals and adoption of ancillary products. We've also showed that people feel better about our partners when they offer a tool like Cake, and they feel like it's really appropriate that these companies offer end-of-life planning support. We've also shown that our software and our team are very buttoned up from a security and privacy perspective, and that we have the chops to work with large organizations that operate under an incredible amount of regulatory scrutiny. We also receive such great user testimonials telling us how helpful it is to have used Cake, how much value we're adding to them and their families, and how easy it is to use. And this is really a testament to the unique expertise on our team, which is a combination of end-of-life planning expertise and consumer technology expertise. We're also advised by world leaders in end-of-life planning. So I'll just leave you with this thought, which is end-of-life planning is top of mind for so many people right now. It's always on everybody's to-do list, but today, living through a pandemic, it's more urgent than ever before. So I look forward to talking to you about how we might be able to work together. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sue Ellen. And next up, HearMe.
Hi, everyone. My name is Adam Lippin, and I am the founder and CEO of HearMe, and I'm glad to be here with you. I'd like to tell you about how HearMe can help augment and revolutionize the current employee assistant programs. By 2030, the global cost of mental illness will exceed $16 trillion. Globally, 12 billion workdays are lost every year due to mental illness, and an estimated 2 billion people suffer from mental illness each year. Loneliness is a contributing factor to the mental health crisis. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy calls loneliness a health epidemic. He states that loneliness is estimated to shorten a person's life by 15 years, equivalent in impact to being obese or smoking 15 cigarettes per day. COVID-19 has only highlighted the sense of isolation, loneliness, and disconnection that many of us feel. Traditional EAPs are treatment-focused and designed to match employees with providers, and too often those services are only used after someone is in crisis, and 90% of employees don't use these benefits. Utilization is typically reactive. People don't always need help in a clinical setting. More often, they would benefit from someone who can listen to them, be present for them, and available to them, to see them, hear them, and validate them. EAP programs should provide clinical care when needed, but also should focus on people with subclinical needs, and HearMe is our solution. We provide an innovative communication platform designed for peer support. Peer support is proven as an effective wellness method and offers a level of acceptance, understanding, and validation. Based on the experience I've had in my own journey, I wanted to create a space where people could feel safe to share their thoughts whenever they needed it. That's why with our platform, people who need to talk are connected via our matching algorithm in under 60 seconds. Members can feel safe knowing that this is an anonymous space and that their data is encrypted. It's quick, simple, with an easy on-ramp for members, and it's less expensive. Our consumer model is proof of concept. We launched our B2C platform on iOS and Android in March. We have a strategic partnership with Global Health Strategies, which has offices all over the world, provides counsel to leading foundations, private companies, and UN agencies, and will help us scale globally. Our trained and caring listeners are available 24/7. We have a number of channel topics where members can find support through shared lived experiences with their listeners, and several organizations have expressed interest in sponsoring these channels. We've had over 20,000 users and 5,000 listeners sign up in over 65 countries with $0 spent on customer acquisition. Conversations on HearMe are longer and more meaningful than those on other platforms, typically lasting an average of 27 minutes. Our members feel happier, less stressed, and more supported after talking with our listeners. HearMe will revolutionize and augment the traditional EAP, which doesn't address the new normal of loneliness, stress, anxiety, and disconnection by offering real-time peer support, mood tracking, and journaling in a non-clinical manner. We build community, deepen bonds, and strengthen employee engagement within the organization. We will provide organizations with meaningful data insight, sentiment analysis, feedback, and moderation tools through our anonymized dashboard. Our onboarding flow is simple, elegant, and human-centered, helping the user connect with the listener quickly and seamlessly. We are the leader in peer support. We are scalable and we are cost-effective. 92% of HearMe users feel better after using the app. A sense of belonging, inclusion, and well-being are no longer nice to have. They are mandatory. We provide this. Companies will save money because employees' needs will be addressed before clinical actions are required. Therefore, HearMe can be offered both as a part of a suite of wellness tools offered by an insurance company and as a standalone package for any organization. There is money being spent on traditional therapy, even for those who don't need a therapist and just need some peer support. Therefore, HearMe can help save money on therapy. We are currently raising $1 million of investments to scale our current technology to the enterprise market and increase our sales effort. At the same time, our free consumer channel continues to quickly grow with over 5,000 new members each month. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to speaking with you further.
Great. And Adam and Zach and Galit and the team at HearMe have done some amazing work, and I know they'd love to hear from you. But next up, Kit.
Hi, good morning. My name is Philip Fung, and today I'd like to introduce to you Kit, the at-home test for life insurance. First, I'd like to start off with a brief video explaining the Kit product.
Welcome to Kit, state-of-the-art at-home diagnostic testing delivered to you. Kit provides the user with the ability to complete their life insurance exam with one simple at-home box, while providing insurers with familiar and comprehensive data for underwriting. Our smartphone app provides step-by-step guidance throughout the user journey to make it simple and convenient. A blood pressure monitor is provided to measure systolic pressure, diastolic pressure, and pulse. A saliva kit is provided to detect smoking, substance abuse, and other risk factors. A scale is provided to measure a user's weight with instant verification. A finger prick kit is provided to take a micro blood sample for testing all the common health markers, such as kidney, heart, and liver function, as well as diabetes, HIV, and other diseases. Components used are proven instruments trusted by healthcare professionals. Throughout the entire sample collection process, Kit makes use of our patented fraud prevention technology. Kit keeps track of users as they complete each step to ensure end-to-end reliability and chain of custody throughout. Kit is here to help make life insurance a modern, simple, and convenient process. Partner with Kit today to help convert more of your insurance applicants.
Over the past few years, life insurance has gotten dramatically more convenient for customers. Buying has moved online and the approval process has been streamlined. But one part of the life insurance buying process that hasn't changed much is the medical exam. The medical exam still requires a human, including scheduling, one-to-one interaction, and causes a 30 to 50% drop-off in an insurance policy buying process. The frequent solution for this issue is mainly focused around quote-unquote fluidless technologies, i.e. using historical prescription and health record data in lieu of the medical exam to gauge health risk. But even with this technology, 90% of life applications still require a medical exam because this data is key for underwriting. We believe the future of life insurance goes down a different path, and that solution is Kit. Kit is very much like an Amazon for medical exams. A box is delivered to a customer's home and allows the customer to do a full self-guided medical exam at home with a single box. This is a complete one-to-one replacement for the life insurance exam, meaning we do all the major tests that an insurer needs to underwrite using their existing tried and true actuary models. Test processing is at the heart of KIT's DNA. We spent the last 2 years developing and staffing a CLIA laboratory from scratch, with certifications equivalent to that of a hospital laboratory. We've developed brand new technologies to make over-the-mail testing possible and stable, and can process thousands of boxes a day. One of the big concerns with using an at-home kit for life exams is fraud. A patient has motivation to seem healthier than they are and can submit a fake sample or substitute another person to take the test. We've created a robust patented solution to combat fraud. Using a smartphone, we guide a user through the entire process and record their interactions and identification to verify the user's identity, as well as using a variety of tamper-evident techniques to ensure chain of custody throughout the process. All of this information is available via API for the underwriter to review. So that's a little bit about KIT, the at-home test for life insurance. We're currently doing partnerships and would be delighted to speak to you if you'd like to learn more. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Kit. And you can catch the team on Remo later this afternoon if you're interested. And next up, Bubble Insurance.
Buying a home is the ultimate American dream, but it can also be scary for most of us. The homeowner is always wondering what happens if something happens to the house or even to themselves, and who's going to take care of the mortgage. That's where life insurance can help, but it's been extremely cumbersome to get life insurance until now. Hi, my name is Avi Gupta. I am the founder and CEO of Bubble Insurance. Our goal is to help homeowners protect everything under the roof, their home, their life, and other assets in a holistic way with seamless online digital processes. Let's talk about life insurance. Most of us know that we need life insurance, but less than 40% of US adults actually end up getting a life insurance policy. And the reasons are many. Traditionally, life insurance has been sold through extremely offline, broken channels. The application process itself has been extremely cumbersome, lots of questions followed by medical tests, etc. And many of us still believe that it costs way more than it actually does. Life insurance is best bought at the point when you're going through a major life event, like the purchase of a house. When you buy a house, your lender requires you to get home insurance. It's the perfect opportunity to also get life insurance and lock in that low term life premium for the next 30 years. And as it turns out, for most people, they can get term life for as little as 1% of their overall home expense. So it's a small piece of additional cost for a lot of peace of mind. And once you have home and life insurance, as life evolves, you may need other protections, right? And we already know so much about you that we can offer you umbrella policies, pet insurance, long-term care, etc., in a very easy click button kind of a way. So how does Bubble do it? We are addressing this problem at every step of the user journey, integrating our insurance engines right into the housing and mortgage shopping experience, using data and AI to streamline the online quoting, application, and binding process. Let's take a look at each one of these steps, right? As you're shopping for a house on a real estate website or applying for a loan on a lender's website, we use data and everything we know about you so far to give you an accurate quote. From there, we lead you to our application process where we use data and analytics to pre-fill what we can, recommend the right product based on your profile, and then optimize the number of questions you need to answer to be able to qualify and approve online. Now, we have the advantage of combining data sets across these multiple domains: real estate, mortgage, location, health, and life. As a result, we are much better able to underwrite and assess your risk without asking a whole bunch of questions. This in turn can lead to faster accelerated underwritings and online approvals for most people. Our team is comprised of people that have these cross-domain expertise across economics, real estate, lending, insurance, and consumer. So Bubble's goal is to provide homeowners with the fastest and most natural way to protect everything and everyone that matters most in their lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Avi. And taking us home today, last but certainly not least, Nuralogix.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Cipozzoli, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Nuralogix. We are an effective AI company, which is the intersection between effective computing and artificial intelligence. Let me begin by asking this question. What if you could check your health using nothing but your smartphone in just 30 seconds? Our answer to that question is you could check your health in 30 seconds if you had a Nura on your phone. A Nura provides you with a plethora of general health and wellness information in just 30 seconds. Nura is the world's first app to allow for blood pressure measurement using just a selfie video from your smartphone. In addition to blood pressure, Nura provides medical grade accuracy for heart rate, breathing, heart rate variability, cardiac workload, mental stress, body mass index, and cardiovascular disease risks. All of this is then distilled into an overall general wellness score. The current version of Nura increases the user's awareness of stress, hypertension, and cardiovascular disease risks. In addition to that, we are working on new features for future releases, which include blood biomarkers such as A1C, cholesterol, and hemoglobin, mental health indices for anxiety and depression, physical indices like body shape index and waist to height ratio, which will help us to estimate your risk of type 2 diabetes. We have also developed a COVID-19 model in collaboration with St. Michael's Hospital in Toronto, the University of Toronto, and Zhangde Hospital in China. The model will give you a probability of being infected with COVID-19 based on your current symptoms. In addition to Nura, the mobile app, we have developed a Nura Heart Magic Mirror, which we're calling the world's first health appliance. In addition to all the Nura measurements, it will allow you to measure blood, body temperature plus blood oxygen saturation, and much more. It will act as a home health appliance, a telemedicine portal, a health check station, and much, much more. So how does it all work? Facial blood flow data is extracted from a selfie video by the client app, running on a smartphone, tablet, or laptop, using our patented technique called transdermal optical imaging, or TOI. The blood flow data, or TOI signal as we call it, is sent to our cloud-based effective AI engine called DeepFX, which then applies advanced AI models to predict and measure selected physiological and psychological states, what we call points. Results are returned to the client app for display. This is the basis for our SaaS-based revenue model, where the client pays on a per measurement, per user basis based on the number of users and number of measurements. The general market sector we play in is digital health, a market which was $106 billion in 2019 and is projected to grow to $639 billion by 2026. We are currently engaged with 50 plus customers at various stages of evaluation, POCs, and integration of our technology across multiple verticals. These customers range from startups to Fortune 500 companies. We have just started generating recurring revenues and have a rapidly growing sales funnel across multiple verticals. Some specific use cases for healthcare are telemedicine, where our technology is being used to create mobile/home telemedicine platforms with the ability to measure key health parameters such as blood pressure using just the video camera. Corporate wellness, where our technology is being used to monitor the health and wellness of employees for the benefit of improving employee health and productivity and lower healthcare costs for employers. We have a growing patent portfolio with 8 patents currently granted and 6 more pending, the crown jewel being the blood pressure patent for now. We have done multiple rounds of financing since inception, having raised a total of $20 million Canadian. There are no institutional investors in the company. The CEO and co-founder, i.e. me, is the lead investor, having contributed $10 million to date. So you might say I have some serious skin in the game. We plan on doing a Series B in 2021. We're looking for the right partners to help us grow and achieve our goal of helping to improve the lives of people everywhere. We have an experienced management team and with proven track records and strong financial and reputational commitments to the success of the company. It's not our first rodeo, and it's more than just about the money. Thank you.
Great, and thank you so much to Nuralogix, and thanks so much to all of our startups for a wonderful batch 9, the batch from home, our virtual batch, but so appreciate it. And we want to take some time before we let you go today and meet you back here this afternoon for Remo to recognize one partner and one startup that have done exceptionally over the last 12 weeks, that have really engaged and been the example of what we try to achieve here at Plug and Play. So I want to welcome my colleague Trisha, our Director of Partner Success, to talk about the Corporate Innovation Award. Trisha, if you can hear me.
Hi, thanks, Rachel.
Yeah.
Awesome. Super excited to be here. This year's winner is one of our early adopters, an active partner with us since 2016. In addition to their strong deal flow, POC, and pilot numbers, we've been so impressed with their consistent and meaningful engagement with the entire ecosystem, as well as finding any way possible to give back to the platform, living up to our mindset of open innovation. Their willingness to trial new ways to improve their innovation strategy and focus on their future of growth has been a learning experience for us both, and we're so thrilled to join them on this journey. Most importantly, the team and overall organization has been a true entrepreneurial mindset, allowing us to thrive in partnerships, this partnership filled with a healthy cycle of learning, sharing, and progressing. So on behalf of Ben, Nurjit, the entire team, and all of Plug and Play, I'm happy to announce American National as this year's Insurtech Corporate Innovation Award winner. I'll pass this off to Bernie now to accept the award.
Hello, Plug and Play. Greetings from Missouri, New York, and Texas. On behalf of American National, I want to thank Plug and Play for the Corporate Innovation Award. For us, it's something that's very meaningful, and it's a recognition of a lot of hard work that's taking place throughout the organization. I also want to thank Ben and Nurjit and Trisha for all of their support. They've been wonderful. I've asked a few members of our Corporate Innovation Council to join me today, and so I'm going to turn it over to them.
Yes, thank you very much, Plug and Play, for selecting American National to receive this award on behalf of the Texas offices.
Thank you to Plug and Play from American National Claims. We appreciate the challenges and also the partnership and the ideas that you bring to our organization.
Thanks from the application development team. The new ideas and concepts that we are exposed to, it just gives us a great opportunity to solve our problems in an innovative fashion.
Thank you, Plug and Play, for this amazing recognition. You know, you don't often hear the words innovation and insurance in the same sentence. But it turns out that just like peanut butter and chocolate, innovation and insurance really do go great together. So thanks to the marketing team here in Springfield, New York, and Texas.
Thank you, Plug and Play, from the Property and Casualty Group in Springfield and Albany, New York. We appreciate the partnership. It's critical for us to keep an eye on the horizon from a technology perspective in the property and casualty world with all the changes going on. And we appreciate the partnership and what you've brought to the table for us.
And I'll wrap us up with, again, thank you to Plug and Play for this honor. And I just, on behalf of the client experience team, and I just want to also thank all of the founders and the companies and the startups that we've worked with in past batches, this batch, and future. We know that working with big old insurance companies can be challenging for you sometimes and frustrating, but we appreciate the vision, the ideas, and the fresh perspectives you're bringing to our industry. So on behalf of all of us, thank you for your persistence, for your perseverance, and your partnership. We need you, and we look forward to working with you for years to come.
Awesome. Congratulations to the entire American National team and of course, our hardworking partner success team. But we so appreciate the partnership and look forward to what's to come. And last but certainly not least, I want to recognize our Startup Leader Award in terms of, from our batch of 25 startups, who's been the most engaged, taking advantage of every opportunity, whether it be office hours, speaking with mentors, corporate messaging. This particular startup has been hitting the ground running and stayed hungry from day one. And I'd like to recognize Bubble Insurance as this year's Startup Leader Award. I think we have a message from Avi as well.
Wow, that's quite an honor. Thank you, everyone. My name is Avi Gupta. I'm the founder and CEO of Bubble Insurance. 3 or 4 months ago, when we first heard that we were selected for this plug and play program, we were overjoyed. And today, knowing that we got this recognition, we are over the moon. So appreciate everybody's guidance and support. But most importantly, I think the journey we've been through over the last 3 or 4 months could not have been possible without plug and play. We have learned so much and come so far. You guys have certainly fast-tracked our initial startup journey in an industry that's new to us. So it's been great to have sort of your guidance along the way. We have met some great advisors. We have forged some strong relationships with insurance and reinsurance companies. And we're looking forward to continuing to be a part of this broader plug and play family in the months and years ahead. I think we're all collectively trying to change this industry, and we can't do it alone. So I think it's great to know that there are like-minded people with similar ideas and similar visions, and we can all collectively pull our heads together and achieve the end goals. So it's great to be a part of this family, and again, appreciate everybody's help in getting us this far, and we're looking forward to great things ahead as well. Thank you.
Great. Congratulations again to Avi and the Bubble Insurance team, as well as American National. We so appreciate you sticking with us and working hard over this last batch to make something that we at Plug and Play are extremely proud of. But hopefully you enjoyed our session today, and hopefully you want to see more and connect with some of these folks and these founders to learn what they're heading into next. So we have our Remo session set. We'll be joining with the health program, whose Expo will follow after we conclude here this morning. And this is a brief look at the Remo floor plan and the open floor plan, much like an on-site event, what you can expect to move freely and hopefully connect with some founders and some like-minded folks. But with that, please let us know if there's anything else that you'd like to see, where we can connect you. But thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you soon.